In 1974, Paul Lynde was voted America's favorite comedian. He was also a gifted voice artist, game show panelist, and could shine in both comedic and dramatic roles as an actor. He was known for being a character actor with a distinct snarky and campy persona who would often poke fun at his homosexuality. While he remained in the closet for most of his life, we all knew the status of his sexuality. As such, he became a gay icon of sorts. No one was laughing, however, on January 10, 1982, when Lynde was found dead in his Beverly Hills home by friend Paul Baresi after he failed to attend a birthday party and couldn't be reached by phone. He was 55 years old. There was some speculation that Lynde had a visitor shortly before his death, but the body of evidence currently available doesn't lend any credence to this notion. The coroner's report officially ruled Lynde's death as a heart attack, but recent revelations have shed a bit more light on that. Join us as we take a look at what might have brought about his death while highlighting some of Lynde's career contributions. From a small Midwestern town to Hollywood. Paul Lynde came into this world in 1926. He was born in Mount Vernon, Ohio, and one of 6 children. His father was a local police officer and the sheriff of the town jail for 2 years, and his mother was a homemaker. Lynde became inspired to pursue a career in showbiz when he was just 4, after his mother took him to a screening of the original silent film Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ. After graduating high school, he enrolled at Northwestern University before relocating to the Big Apple. It was in New York City he landed his first big break as a stand-up comic at the No. 1 Fifth Avenue nightclub. After that, he appeared in a Broadway show called New Faces of 1952. A few years prior, Lynde had a 2-year run on television on Perry Como's Kraft Music Hall. He later performed in both the Broadway and film adaptations of Bye Bye Birdie. Broadway was always dear to Lynde's heart, and throughout his life he appeared in numerous Broadway productions such as The Impossible Years, Plaza Suite, and Don't Drink the Water. Among his many film credits are 1964's Send Me No Flowers and 1978's Rabbit Test. His most iconic role, however, was playing the recurring character Uncle Arthur on Bewitched. He also appeared in shows like Donnie Marie and The Dean Martin Show. Aside from Bewitched, Lynde's most notable television credit was for being a panelist on Hollywood Squares. He became a fan favorite on that program thanks to his witty one-liners and unique comedic delivery. While those shows certainly helped Lynde find success in Hollywood, he desperately wanted to be taken seriously for his efforts. Late in life, he produced 2 television shows of his own, The Paul Lynde Show, debuting in 1972, and The New Temperatures Rising Show, which also hit the air that same year. Unfortunately, both shows failed to develop a following and were promptly canceled. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First for more, and stick around for more about Paul Lynde. Alcoholism, trouble with the law, and Lynde's final years. Even though he was viewed in a relatively positive, if not glowing light throughout his career, it was the failure of Lynde's 2 television series that evidently exacerbated his problems with alcohol. Ultimately, his drinking led to several run-ins with the long arm of the law and numerous arrests for public intoxication. It was also reported Lynde would regularly verbally berate his friends whenever he got drunk. But even though he was prone to getting belligerent when he'd hit the bottle, Lynde's enduring popularity led to him being signed by ABC to host several specials in the mid to late 70s, including the Paul Lynde Comedy Hour and the Paul Lynde Halloween Special. In addition to his drinking issues, Lynde also struggled to keep his weight in check, and in 1977, his beloved dog, Harry McAfee, passed on. Lynde couldn't leave his house without his canine companion, so losing him was a low blow. A year later, he purchased a new home and spent a great deal of money renovating it. In 1978, he guest starred as a weatherman for a local Toledo, Ohio station. That same year, while making an appearance on the Donnie and Marie Show in Salt Lake City, he was arrested outside a gay bar for harassing a police officer investigating a car break-in. The case was later dropped, but he ended up losing his guest starring spot on the Donnie and Marie Show in the process. After the final programs he appeared on, Paul Lynde at the Movies and Paul Lynde Goes Mad, aired on ABC, Lynde found himself disenchanted by the entertainment industry and hated how he felt boxed in by his recurring appearances on Hollywood Squares. After leaving the game show, acting gigs became fewer and further between. While he claimed this was because of homophobia, it's also likely his substance abuse issues and erratic behavior played a part in his decline. On one occasion, he was pulled over for drunk driving. While being arrested, he was quite irate. He later made a series of rude and racist comments publicly about various people he didn't like. All these factors led to him developing a reputation for being hard to work with. Lynde did end up getting sober in early 1980, but at this point Hollywood Squares was already experiencing a ratings freefall, and Lynde had little desire to return to the program, but reportedly they made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and he ended up returning to the series later that spring. He stayed on the program until it was canceled in 1981. Sex and drugs ended up doing him in. Lynde had a dark childhood that scarred him for life and left him with insecurities. Lynde was gay at a time in history when society frowned upon homosexuality. As such, he did his best to hide his sexual orientation for as long as he could, fearing that if the public knew he was gay, his career would be over. Even though he was afraid to come out, his sexuality might have been the secret to his success. He was often cast in gay roles, and being gay made it a lot easier for him to give a convincing performance. His most prominent role as a gay individual was on Bewitched, playing Samantha's homosexual uncle Arthur. He appeared on 11 of its 254 episodes. But years later, when he found himself struggling to find meaningful roles, Lynde turned to a life of sex, drugs, and alcohol to ease his troubled mind. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that following his death, traces of a heart drug frequently used as a sexual stimulant were found in his bloodstream. The Daily News of LA reported in 1982 that traces of butyl nitrate, an unregulated drug that's known to cause elevated heart rates, were found in his system. It remains unclear if this drug contributed to his heart attack, but it hasn't been ruled out. Since he already had heart problems from his years of partying and heavy drinking, it's not unreasonable to assume the drug could have exacerbated his health issues. 2 bottles of butyl nitrate were found on a nightstand next to his bed when his body was found. One was open, one was full. And as far as the supposed visitor Lynde reportedly had shortly before his death, it's unlikely anyone was with him before or after his death other than Paul Lynde, his friend who discovered his body. Because when Lynde entered his house through a side entrance, he tripped the home security alarm. If anyone else had entered previously, they would likely have set off the alarm as well. Now it's time to hear from you. What was your favorite role of Paul Lynde's? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.